What up, fam? Do you need some extra tools that's going to help your life be the best that it can possibly be? Are you constantly juggling work, family, and personal time only to feel drained and unfulfilled? That's where the book that I wrote called The Balanced Life can be your guide to reclaiming your time, energy, and happiness with practical strategies for setting boundaries, prioritizing self-care, and achieving real balance. This book helps you create a life that you love without the burnout. Get ready to break free from the chaos and step into a life of purpose and peace. Grab your copy of The Balanced Life because you deserve a life that works for you. Also, we have The Unraveling. It's a journal to help you write, reflect, and heal. Your thoughts matter. Your feelings deserve space. The Unraveling Journal is more than just a notebook. It's your personal guide to self-reflection, healing, and growth. With guided prompts, mindfulness exercises, and room to express yourself freely, this journal helps you untangle emotions, process life's challenges, and rediscover clarity. Take a moment for you. Write, reflect, and heal, one page at a time. And fam, also another book written by my wife is Healthy Relationships. Because fam, you know this. Great relationships don't just happen. They're built. Whether it's with your partner, kids, friends, or co-workers, strong connections are the foundation of a happy life. In healthy relationships, you'll learn how to communicate better, set healthy boundaries, and nurture trust in every relationship that matters to you. Because when your connections thrive, you thrive. Start building stronger, healthier relationships today. Click on the link below and order your copy. Fam, we want you to be the best version of yourself. Get one of these books today. God bless. I told you, there's nothing like being in prison in your own life. You ain't even got to have no physical bars that you see in front of you. You ain't got to have no police or no correctional officers or anybody keeping you in check. But fam, when you in prison in your mind, when you in prison in your heart, when you in prison in your soul, that is one of the worst things that could ever happen. You out here free, ain't no police trying to hunt you down, ain't nobody trying to capture you, and you are in constant bondage to your unknown safety that you think is so good for you. You can be physically free and still mentally bound by fear. Family, welcome back to the Bacon Bits Podcast, where we desire for you to take the bits of information and immediately apply them to your life for success. The ground rules for our podcast is that it will always be encouraging, uplifting, and informative. The areas of life that we will be talking about on the Bacon Bits Podcast is dealing with having a balanced life. And I need to hear y'all say it. Say valuable. Information applied equals success. And fam, there's a song that's been just running through my head right now for this episode right here, and it's "Don't you worry about a thing, mama." Family, we worry a lot. We worry a lot, and we were not designed to worry, because worrying will rob you of your joy, and fear will steal your freedom. I'ma say it again. Worry will rob your joy, and fear will steal your freedom. Not tomorrow, not eventually, but right now. So that's why it is so imperative that we make sure that we are not allowing ourselves to worry. Do we have concerns? Yes, man, that's life. But worrying does nothing for us whatsoever. And worrying is sneaky. It doesn't usually show up loud and hollering and screaming. It's gonna whisper. It sounds like, what if that doesn't work out? What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? Worrying will tear you a new one if you let it. And it, like I said, it doesn't do it just outlandishly. It literally sneaks in, creeps in little by little. And before you know it, man, you will have worried yourself. How do we say it? Worry yourself to death. Worrying is just that powerful. It can make you do some things that is totally being counteractive to what you want to do in life. So the problem with worrying isn't just that it's uncomfortable. The real problem is that worry keeps you mentally living in a future that hasn't even happened yet. And in doing so, it steals the joy that's available to you right now. That's why we try so much to try to emphasize living in the present moment of what's going on today. Worrying and anxiety is killing people, man. It's getting people on medications, man. It's getting them totally off track to the kind of life that they really want because they're allowing this thing called worry to consume them. Joy doesn't mean everything is perfect, though. You got to get that. Joy means you're able to recognize God's presence even in imperfect moments. That's the beauty of the difference between happiness and joy. Told you, if everything is going good, we happy. Everything ain't going good, we unhappy. But when you can get to the point where you can recognize, you know what, God's presence in that situation and he's with you, he'll never leave you nor forsake you, man. It makes every situation that much more enjoyable. It makes every situation more bearable. If we would just get joy. That's what God designed and gave us when he gave us the fruits of the Spirit. One of the fruits of the Spirit is joy. So that's what we're supposed to be doing, eating the fruit of joy instead of eating the bitter herbs of bitterness, man, and worry. Worry says, I can't enjoy today because tomorrow is uncertain. But joy says today is a gift, even if tomorrow is unclear. Because don't forget, God is going with you in the next season of your life, the next day of your life, the next moment of your life. So if I know God has my best interest and he wants the best for me, my job is to be focusing on him and not the situation. You can see it. Make sure you pray. Yeah, make sure you give it to God. Tell him what's going on. Not that he don't know already, but he wants us to acknowledge, guess what, God, I need some help in this area. And he is more than willing to be there for us. But if we desire to worry and be consumed by worry, man, it is really literally killing us in that moment. And remember, we talked about it, that we got to work on that thing called fear, man. Fear stops you from being free. Fear isolates you. Fear paralyzes you when fear was never designed to do that. God does say, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, but it's defined differently. The word fear in that aspect is be in awe, be enamored, be amazed, and be in just incredibly in awe of who God is. And it's not a fear of I'm supposed to be terrified, scared. Now, guess what? There is some elements to that. Don't get me wrong. I always use the same analogy all the time. I do, man. I love my mama. But growing up, man, I still had a phenomenal fear of my mama at the same time. The love overrode the fear. But it was the fear of my mom that kept me out the joint. It's fear of my mom that kept me out of a lot of drama that I would have got into, thinking about, she loves me enough and I don't want to ruin her name. I don't want to cause her no heartache or pain. So it was that beautiful fear that kept me away. But it wasn't fear that was paralyzing. It was fear that gave me the freedom. But understanding that fear, man, it can consume you. It can destroy you. It can just put you so pent up that you can't be free to be who God intended for you to be. Fear will keep you quiet when you should be speaking. And that's happening a lot in our day and time today. Because of fear, people are being quiet when they should be speaking out about situations and things that are happening in our world today. Fear will keep you small when you were called to grow. We were never meant to be stagnant. We are always supposed to be growing and be in a state of learning and becoming better and better and becoming all that God intended for us to be. Fear will keep you stuck in places God already gave you permission to leave. We have limited ourselves in so many areas, whether it's relationships, God, I don't think nobody else is going to love me, so I'm just going to tolerate this relationship I'm in. Man, you crazy. Man, I'm at this job, man, and this is the only, I'm so grateful to just have this job, man, but it's not, touching my potential, and it's not, bringing me satisfaction. I'm just here because it's a paycheck. Fam, we are bigger than that. God has given you permission to leave that relationship, leave that job, that you're not supposed to be at. That's not using your potential. But fear will do that, man. It's jobs out here are scarce, man. Jobs out here are plenteous. Who you're supposed to be with is out there, but will I let go of what I have to get to what I'm supposed to have? Whether that's the relationship again or the job, man. It's will I let go of what was to get the what is to be. The most dangerous thing about fear is that it convinces you that safety is the same thing as freedom. How many times have we played it safe when we should have took a risk? And my own personal philosophy has always been this. All of life is one big risk. All of it. All of it. I don't care how you look at it. The whole thing is a risk. The only thing that's permanent that I know of is when you give yourself to God through Jesus, man. I know that's permanent. But all that other stuff, fam, I could be hustling, making this money, end up losing my job. That happened. I could love somebody like they supposed to be loved, and the relationship still don't work. Had that happen. Taking care of my body, working out, eating right, and getting sleep and all that. And can I still have sicknesses and illnesses or diseases? That still can happen. Man, I'm reading all these good books. I'm learning some new stuff. And can I still worry myself to death? Yes, you can. If the whole thing is a risk, the cool part is, what is worth taking the risk? Is it worth you finding the job of your dreams instead of, being satisfied and stuck in this place? Is it worth you taking the risk to find the love of your life instead of staying miserable in this relationship that you're in? Is it worth taking the risk to say, you know what's going to cost a little bit more money, baby, to eat a little bit better, but it's worth it. It's going to take me some time to have to, go to the gym or, guess what, as I am, bring some weights and stuff to the home. It's going to take me a little time, but it's worth the risk. It's worth the investment. But fam, when we have these fears, man, they can consume you so much that you think safety is freedom, and it's not. A lot of times we play it too safe in our lives. But safety without obedience becomes a prison. Yeah. I told you, there's nothing like being in prison in your own life. You ain't even got to have no physical bars that you see in front of you. You ain't got to have no police or no correctional officers or anybody keeping you in check. But fam, when you in prison in your mind, when you in prison in your heart, when you in prison in your soul, that is one of the worst things that could ever happen. You out here free, ain't no police trying to hunt you down, ain't nobody trying to capture you, and you are in constant bondage to your unknown safety that you think is so good for you. You can be physically free and still mentally bound by fear. You can have opportunities in front of you and still refuse to walk through the door because of fear. My God, right there. It keeps telling you, what if this doesn't work? And I told you, fam, you got to get that switch turned on that says, what happens when this works? When I apply for that job I've been always wanting. When I get into this relationship I've been always wanting. When I get into the physical health that I've always wanted. What happens when this works? Not if, when this works. That's the beauty of having a healthy hope. And what is hope defined as? An earnest expectation. When you have an earnest expectation that things are going to turn out right, you plan differently. And if you're going to plan, which we all should plan, man, plan that the thing that you're trying to do is going to work. Plan that way. Because worrying, man, it drives you crazy. So here's what worry and fear have in common. They both try to replace trust. That's why I want to talk about these two, man. The two things the thing that they have in common between worry and fear is that they both try to replace trust. Trust is so huge, man. It is so huge. It is so huge. I mean, every time I say the word trust, the first thing that comes to my mind is trust in the Lord with all your heart, man. And lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path. Trust. I trust my wife has my best interests at mind. I trust my wonderful producer, Shay. She's got my best interests at heart. Fam, how many people can you trust in? What systems do you have in place that you can trust in? I trust that if I do this workout right here, man, I know that mug gonna come through. It sure did. Man, I trust if I put my best foot forward, man, God gonna work everything out for good. It has happened. What are you not trusting in because of your worry and your fear? By faith. Faith will say, even if I don't know the outcome, I know who walks with me. That's why we got to constantly talk about that beautiful relationship with God, man. Because, fam, life itself, for a lot of people, it has a lot of uncertainty in it in this day and time we live in right now. As you are listening to this, a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff in life, man. A lot of stuff in life. But you got to ask yourself the question, who's walking with me? What can I trust in this day and time? That's why scriptures remind us in Philippians 4, 6, and 7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition and thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Present your request to God. Yes, God knows already what you need before you ask for. But guess what? Just like I say with, the beautiful queens in the world. Brothers, she can't read your mind. Baby girl, your husband can't read your mind. You got to let them know what it is. Like I said, God is God. That's different. But I treat the relationship, God, like, you know what? Let me tell God about my problems. And when I tell him about my problems, it feels that much better to release that stuff. And notice this one thing I didn't say. Fam, I didn't say ignore reality. Yeah, life be life. And yeah, life gonna do what it do. But it says bring everything you have to God and stop trying to carry it by yourself. We were not designed to be on this earth to carry stuff on our own. We were not designed that way. There's a reason why God has us be interdependent on each other and interdependent with him. We are supposed to be with God and walking through this thing with him, and have your tribe of people around you, your friends, your family, the people that you need around you to help you live this best life. So we are going to choose today to choose joy and freedom on a daily basis. What replaces worry? The trust. What replaces the fear is the choosing of joy. Fam, we are going to have joy and freedom. And they aren't feelings for you to be waiting for. They're decisions you practice. Notice they ain't just going to jump in your body, the joy, and to jump in your body, the freedom. You have to make decisions to practice these things daily. Lord, I choose to be joyful when I wake up in the morning. This is the day that you have made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day I wake up and say, thank you, Lord, for letting me be free to not have to stay stuck in my sins and my shortcomings, Lord, but to give it all over to you. Joy is choosing gratitude when worry wants to control, because that's what worry wants you to do. Worry wants you to get caught up and get stuck in being controlled by that worry. That's what it does. Freedom is choosing obedience when fear wants comfort. Sometimes we get happy about stressing. At least I got something I can control. I control me worrying. I control me having fear. Man, that is crazy. Why would I even want to do that when I can be free and have the joy that God so much wants me to have? So I'm going to leave you guys with a couple of questions. Number one, what am I worrying about that I need to surrender? What am I worrying about that I need to surrender? Now, you can pause the podcast and reflect on that, and you give it over to God even before you finish this podcast. Stop it right there with that question and say, what am I worrying about that I need to surrender? Next question and last question. What am I afraid of that's keeping me from moving forward? What am I afraid of that's keeping me from moving forward? I told you, if somebody else trying to stop me, okay, it is what it is. But fam, when I'm stopping me from moving forward and having the kind of life that I need to have, I really need to ask myself that question. What am I afraid of that's keeping me from moving forward? And the crazy part, and it's just one of the things that keeps people from moving forward. 2 letters, N-O. Notice, ain't nobody hit me, bust me upside the head, steal my money. They ain't said nothing bad about my wife. I let 2 letters, N-O, stop me from moving forward and having my best life. Because we got to get this. What you tolerate eternally would eventually shape how you live externally. What you tolerate internally will eventually shape how you live externally. Really think about that, because fam, a lot of what's happening on the outside of our lives is a greater indication of what's playing on the inside of our lives. Great indication. So I'm going to leave you with this. Worry will rob you of your joy if you let it, because can't nobody take your joy. We always say it, the world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. Can't nobody take your joy. But worry will rob you of your joy if you let it. And fear will steal your freedom if you listen to it. Watch those fears that's trying to come up around you. Neither one of these get the final say. You get to say, I want joy and I want freedom. I was created for joy. God gets so much joy from you. You were created for joy. And that isn't dependent on circumstances, man. It's just like, think about it, for the parents out there that love their babies, man. They just love their kids being in their life, being around them, man. Notice the circumstances ain't got to be perfect. But you just love your babies, man. I'm talking about, I don't care how old they are. Them is still your babies, and you still get so much joy from them. And they ain't got to do nothing for that. They going to get it automatic. That's that beautiful unconditional love. And freedom that isn't limited by fear. We do not want freedom to limit us, man. We want fear, excuse me. We don't want fear to limit us, man. We want freedom. Free to be you. How many are out there that's stuck and paralyzed from not being able to be the full version of who you want to be today? So today, choose trust over worry. Choose courage over fear. And remember, you don't walk this journey alone. God wants to be with you. Guys, I ain't got nothing but love for you. If you need to go back and listen to this episode again, go back and listen again. Because, man, I want you to walk in the fullness of who God calls you to be. This is your boy, John Bacon, with another segment of Bacon Bits. God bless. What's up, family? If this podcast has inspired you, encouraged you, made you think deeper, or even just made you smile, then I have a simple ask. Would you consider supporting this work? Creating this podcast takes time, heart, and resources, from equipment and editing to outreach and hosting. Each episode is a labor of love aimed at lifting people up and speaking life into real situations. But I can't do it alone. Your donation, big or small, helps keep the meaning going and the message. It helps us grow, reach more people, and continue producing powerful content that uplifts, educates, and empowers. If you've been blessed by this platform, I invite you to sow into it. Help us keep the mic on and the message moving. You can give at Zelle or Cash App using the links in the description box. Thank you for being part of the journey. With gratitude, the Bacon Bits Podcast, where we speak life, purpose, and legacy, one episode at a time.